Hello, co-creators, and welcome back to Be the Change Now. On this video, we are going to be talking about how to visualize. Now, if you are curious, what is visualization? What is it good for? Where does it come from? What's its history within humans? How come it's so hard? Why we question ourselves? I've got another video about some of that, and I'll link that below. Basically, visualization is something that has been used pretty much through all of history, and post-Enlightenment, 17th or 18th century, we started to move away from it and devalue it in this idea that we need to always be in our rational minds. But the power of visualization is that it can connect us with our wisdom and our purpose on a sort of non-physical level. You can think of it as a way to access like the universal consciousness or the Akashic records, or that data that is everything that always has been and always will be, and everything in between there can be accessed through visualization. And we use a word that is more common now to describe it called imagination. Now, imagination gets a bad rap in our culture. However, many incredible folks, like I can't remember the exact quote, Einstein, I think, said something about that the imagination is the most important thing that we have. Many of the folks who have made the biggest impact on our world, who we celebrate, use and access the power of visualization regularly. Because if we're working from only what we know, then we won't get anything different than what we currently have. And that's why imagination is so important, okay? Because it gives us access to things that we haven't yet experienced so that we can create things that we haven't yet experienced. And if you're anything like me and you have been in moments where you feel really stuck and really frustrated with your current life and you can't seem to come up with any different result, it's like making soup with a set of ingredients and not liking it, and then trying to make a different soup from the same set of ingredients. It's not going to work, right? So we tap into visualization or imagination to try to pull some new ingredients to get a soup that we like better, okay? And one of the simplest ways to tap into visualization is to use our five senses, okay? Seeing, hearing, smelling, taste, and touch, right? When we really tap into those five senses, we can draw on things that we've experienced in our physical lives before to make the visualization or the imagination really powerful and realistic. Now, some people go, I can't picture anything in my head. That's okay. Not all of us have that part of our brain. That's why tapping into all of the five senses is really effective, because even if you can't come up with a picture, when I say the word giraffe, you can still have the thought that is the description of how the giraffe looks. You can probably still tell me like, oh yeah, it has four legs, it has a tail, that the legs are long and spindly, right? It has a long neck. So you don't have to see a picture in order for this to work. It may be as you start to practice this that you become a person who has an easier time coming up with an image, but that is not necessary, okay? So what can we use this for? One is, just as a nervous system regulating exercise, visualization can be very effective. We can visualize either a hypothetical scenario using our senses that's calming and relaxing and gives us the opportunity to move from this fight, flight, freeze back up into our executive functioning. So say we're in a moment where we're really overwhelmed and stressed at work and we can't find a solution to a problem that has an immediate deadline. We might give ourselves, we're in this freaked out place where we don't have any new ideas, because there's no new ideas that come when you're in fight, flight, or freeze. We want to get ourselves back up into the executive functioning frontal lobe so that we can come up with a new idea to solve our solution in time for the deadline. We could use a visualization strategy just to get our system regulated enough that we have access to executive functioning. And that might be that we imagine a beautiful beach in Hawaii, and we take 60 seconds to breathe as we imagine looking out across the beautiful ocean, listening to the crashing of the waves, smelling that salty sea air, feeling the sand beneath our toes, and maybe tasting a nice cold lemonade, right? The tartness and sweetness in our mouth. Even as I started to just describe that for the sake of giving this example, I immediately felt my nervous system relax, right? Just that description and tying into all those senses in just a few seconds, most of us will have a relaxing in our nervous system. Okay. And so you can use it on the very practical level to just give your nervous system an opportunity to take a moment, notice, okay, is this a actual crisis? Is there a tiger ready to eat me? Maybe not. I connect in with a visualization, and then I can pop myself back up to my executive functioning, and maybe I realize like, oh, I just didn't put this one thing in, and if I change this, then we're good to go for my deadline, right? So we just open ourselves up to some problem solving in the very practical. In the more metaphysical or quantum level, visualization can be used to start bringing in the reality that you want to be living that feels impossible. Okay. So let's say I want to have a YouTube channel. Okay. And I have all of these thoughts and experiences that are confirming that that is an unrealistic goal. Okay. So I talk about having a YouTube channel and I start to go, well, I don't have a camera, I don't have lighting, I don't have a microphone, I don't know what I would say, how would anyone ever find out about me, right? I could do that for the rest of my life, or I could use visualization to start saying in the present tense, I'm so grateful now that I have 5 followers or subscribers, however many you imagine yourself having. I'm so grateful now that I found the helpful information that helped me to realize what kind of microphone and lighting and camera I might need. P.S. Side note, I'm using these $5 headphones that have a little microphone on them and Zoom on my computer. I have no lighting or camera or microphone. I know it's not super professional, but it's good enough for us to be talking right now, right? So when you start to imagine yourself doing the thing, right? I can imagine myself for half an hour before I start work, coming up with a brief outline of some things that I could share on a YouTube video, recording it, and then uploading it to YouTube. I am so grateful now that I have woken up energized and excited about an idea to put on my YouTube video. I am so grateful now for the kind comment that I received from my video and the warmth that I felt in my heart when the person said that they appreciated and enjoyed my video. I am so grateful now, right? You could go on and on and on. And many people in this rationalized sort of get your head out of the clouds society that we've inherited may say, well, Z, that's just wishful thinking, and it's only going to be more depressing if it doesn't come true if you spend all this time visualizing. I don't know. I have to tell you that I have really enjoyed this kind of what I call, I took this word from Martha Beck, pre-membering, okay? Like remembering, but pre-membering. So I've been really enjoying just writing in a journal, starting with I'm so grateful now, which I learned from Bob Proctor and Wesley Virgin. I'm so grateful now that I enjoy sharing time with my clients and talking about the nervous system and exploring their goals for their lives, right? I think it's really fun and encouraging to write about those things. I have come to realize that I have told the stories so many times about all the things that have gone wrong in my life that I know those stories really well and I'm pretty sick of them. But these new stories, I don't know yet. And it's really fun. It's like writing fiction about myself that actually it's all starting to come true, by the way, everything I've done so far. So in that realm of like manifesting, this is for sure, but what every manifesting person will teach you is visualization, right? But even in the, if you wonder if manifesting is real and you don't really buy into it and you think it's all hocus pocus, just exploring these dreams, these imaginations, these daydreams like a child is actually very pleasurable. And it's my impression that the um, squashing of that or the discouraging of children to do that is probably related to adults who are feeling like their lives are really hard and they want to protect children from the like brutal reality that they believe the children are bound to face. My personal perspective is that if we were to let children continue to dream, that they would dream themselves into those realities. And that the reason why so many people think they're just like doomed to have a miserable life is because that's what we've been taught to expect, right? So you can do this on a very practical level just because it feels good and it allows you to shift out of fight, flight, freeze up into executive functioning. Or you can do it because you really believe in the power of uh, experiencing in an emotional and very detailed sensory way the reality which you would prefer. It will work for both of those. Okay, I have 2 book recommendations. And then I'm going to give you one more example of how to visualize. This one is Courageous Dreaming by Alberto Villoldo. I'll link it in the description. It is about the shamanic tradition of dreaming or visualizing, and it is incredibly powerful if you're ready to say, I'm done with victimhood. I'm not going to keep telling the story that nothing ever changes and that I'm doomed and life is hopeless. If you're ready to go ahead and dream or visualize yourself into other realities, this one is amazing and very straightforward, really easy to read. It's not like dense, you know. And then this one is called The Art of Acting by uh Stella Adler. Stella Adler. I will also link it. The Art of Acting. Very old book. I was recommended it by Bob Proctor, I believe. I'm trying to see when it was like first published, but I can't see. Look at that picture. Huh. I think that's Stella as a young actor. So it is the theory of acting. Why does this have anything to do with it? Because let's face it, we're all acting. We're in these avatars, we're souls just like acting out this human thing. Might as well learn about how to make it what we want it to be, how to embody the person that we want to be. And I'm going to make another video about the ideal self exercise, which this is very useful for as well. But on a, on the basic visualizing level, it's like if you're saying, okay, I'm gonna play the the Wicked Witch of the West in the play The Wizard of Oz for my local town, and I'm going to think about, what did the Wicked Witch feel like? What outfit does she wear? What kind of things does she like to eat? What does she like to, you know, I don't know, what does she think about anything, and really get into what kind of a person she is so that you can like embody her, right? And so we do that when we like take a training. We think, okay, I want to be a mechanic. What kind of things does a mechanic do? Right? You watch people do this. What kind of outfits do mechanics wear? What kind of like language do mechanics use? What kind of knowledge set do they have to have? And we put all those things in. So why shouldn't we do it about the kind of person that we want to be, right? If we just choose it for career, or like I want to be a soccer mom, like what does a soccer mom do? And this can be a trap when we're trying to like fit into a group, right? But it could also be an incredibly powerful tool if I'm like, all right, I'd like to be a person who um owns my own business and has a YouTube channel. What do those kind of people do? Do they have certain daily practices? Do they have certain schedules? Do they have certain props that they use, microphones, computers, cameras? Do they have certain ways of talking? Do they have certain patterns that they use, right? I study these people that I would like to be more like in the same way that I would study a character that I want to play. And then I start becoming it, right? By acting into this reality. So this is useful on so many levels. Clearly, I could talk for a very long time about it. I've shared my 2 books. Yes, okay. 2 more things. There's so much, right? I am so excited about all of this, and that's what shows me that I am on the right path, right? Because I have around me right now, since 4 days ago or something that I started making these videos, I have pages and pages and pages of notes and ideas and things that I want to share. And when Bashar says follow the excitement, and people are like, well, nothing's exciting, what does that even mean? I'm telling you, you'll know it when you find it. Okay. It is exciting to do things that are aligned for you. And I'll make a whole video about how to get there. But I'm just excited that I'm excited. Okay. Back on track. Okay. Let's just do the sense drenching, okay? Because that one's very clear, and this is a great way to start visualizing, okay? You don't have to do it about your future self yet, because that can be more challenging for the ego. The ego will come in and say, that's not a good idea, okay? So let's do this first. This one is called the sense drench. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you identify something that you would enjoy looking at, smelling, tasting, touching, and hearing. Okay, kind of like at the beginning when I did that little beach scene. Except this time, it doesn't have to be all one scene. Okay, it can be things that don't match. Like I want to look at the New York City skyline and I want to hear tropical birds, and I want and rain in a rainforest, and I want to touch a cozy blanket in a warm cottage, and I want to smell popcorn, movie theater popcorn, and I want to taste cotton candy. Okay. It could all be mismatched. And I will tell you this, it'll be even more powerful if it's mismatched, because when it's sort of something you would expect, you don't get into it as much. When it's mismatched, you have to really bring the attention to the different pieces. And that makes it more powerful because our brains love like curious new puzzles. And they're sort of bored by the things that make sense. Okay. All right. So let's try this together. I am going to have us close our eyes or gaze down, whatever feels most comfortable to you. Let's go ahead and take one big deep breath in. Hold for 3. Release for 4. Another deep breath in. Hold for 3. Release for 5. And I'm going to have you begin to become aware as you continue to breathe of an incredible view spreading out before you. What are you looking at? What colors do you see? What movement is happening? What structures are there, or pieces of nature? What adjectives would you use to describe this scene that you're looking at? Continuing to breathe deeply and watching that beautiful scene that spread out before you. Begin to notice the sounds that you picked. What sounds are you listening to? Are they loud and sudden or sharp? Do the sounds change a lot, or are they staying pretty much the same? How do the sounds make you feel? Are they interesting or soothing? Continuing to breathe deeply, to listen to these sounds that you picked and to gaze out at the scene that you've chosen. You begin to become aware of the smell that you've chosen. What adjectives would you use to describe this smell? What memory associations do you have with this smell? Where do you usually smell it, and who does it remind you of? What kind of feelings do you have when you smell this? With a cozy and comforting smell, or an exciting smell, or something that makes you start to get ready to taste something sweet or savory. Continuing to breathe deeply as you are aware of this wonderful smell, the sounds in the background, and this beautiful scene that you've created. Noticing what you are touching or feeling with your body. Is it something that you're feeling on your whole body, or just on your feet or your hands? Is it cool or warm or neutral? What does this sensation remind you of? What kind of feelings come up around this sensation? And as you continue to breathe, begin to notice that you're taking a bite or taking a sip of whatever you chose that you want to taste. First, notice how it feels in your mouth, the temperature. The texture of this. What kind of words would you use to describe the flavor? What kind of memories does this taste bring up? And how do you feel when you taste this? Now taking 3 deep breaths as you really savor this taste, this smell, these sounds. What you're touching and what you're looking at. And notice, how does your body feel as you imagine this scene that you've created? And realizing that whether it's real or not, this imaginary exercise has created a shift in your very real physiology, and that the research shows that your brain and your body has no way to determine if this experience is real or not. The benefits of a relaxing experience in your imagination are the same as the benefits of a relaxing experience in your real time. The negative impacts of a stressful situation in your imagination are the same as the negative impacts of a stressful situation in your real time. And remembering as you continue to breathe that you can come back to this beautiful scene anytime, even if only for 30 seconds, and receive the benefits. And you can change the individual pieces to fit whatever mood, whatever feeling, whatever craving you're having. And you can give yourself exactly what you want in any moment, because your brain does not know the difference between imagination and physical reality. Taking a deep breath in, holding for 3, releasing for 5, and coming back when you're ready. All right, my co-creators. It's so wonderful. And do you want to know that this visualization, it feels so good, and there's nothing dangerous about it. There's no side effects other than positive ones. There's no negative side effects. There's no cost. Nobody is hurt. And everyone has access to it at all times. It's pretty special. All right. So if you enjoyed this, please give it a like. If you're enjoying what I'm offering in general, please subscribe. If you have a person in your life who is going through a hard time and you think might benefit from this, please consider sharing it with them. My hope is that we can share this information that is free via these free platforms so that more and more people can have access to the options that they do have to support themselves in life. There's so much outside of ourselves that's out of our control, especially as I'm making this video. There's many things happening in the world that can feel really defeating and overwhelming. And we all have people and circumstances in our life that we can't change right now. And supporting ourselves with some of this is a real gift because if nothing else, it gives us the opportunity to shift out of that fight, flight, freeze and back up into our executive functioning so that we have the wherewithal to not just worry about what's going on or fight and get discouraged and judge what's going on in the world around us, but to imagine possibilities and solutions and have the stamina to take some action towards those imagined possibilities. When we're in fight, flight, or freeze and judgment, we really can't come up with anything that's any different from the violence that we're experiencing. So my real hope is that we can share all of this with as many people as possible so that we feel we have options both to take care of ourselves and to take care of each other. I love you so very much. If you'd like more, please subscribe, but also consider checking out my website, www.annexperiencer.com. There's a free ebook of nervous system regulating exercises. There's courses and art classes or drop-in art sessions. They're not art classes. And ways to connect with me, so many options. I'm sending you so much love and thank you for being with me on this journey. Mwah.